It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay. She off your mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not they off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo.
We shout. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. Happy Sunday to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun Live. Thank you.
Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Maiyegun diary, lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Thank you so much for joining me. You can share the broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite those who are not your friendly friends. Tell them, Maiyegun today. Today, on the Sunday sermon, I want to ask us a personal question, something that you probably should be able to answer. If you find it difficult to answer this, then maybe this broadcast will help you out. What is the worth? What do you think is the worth of a Nigerian? Thank you. Now, share the broadcast, invite your friends, tell them that Maiyegun is live, and then we'll kickstart this in about a minute. So if you are just joining me, and if this is even your first time, you can go on to Maiyegun's Diary Politico on YouTube just for a moment, okay? And give your subscribe onto Maiyegun's Diary Politico. Let's swell the number just for a minute, if you can.
And yes, we like
Maiyegun today. Thank you very much for joining me again. And for those that will be joining us later, I'm going to say welcome. to you, okay? To everyone joining me this afternoon or morning or evening, whatever time you are watching this, okay? Nigeria is a crime scene. And many of us speaking up, right? Even though some will say, well, you know, you are just exaggerating it. You are making it look like it's an Armageddon. You are making it look like it's going to blow up. Okay. When these things sound so exaggerated to you, trust me, you haven't even heard half of it. With the level of secrecy, with the level of how they bury information in Nigeria, the little ones that are sprinkling out little by little that people are picking on, digging into to expose further fraud or lies that they cover up, are the little you are hearing. Oh, you don't even have a clue how rotten, how deeply rotten that rigged system is and why it will never work. Let's start this way. If it is not yet an Armageddon to you, it is because maybe it hasn't happened to you. In the last 12 years alone, over 300,000 children have been killed by the terrorists in Nigeria alone. And when you place their lives beside the lives of their killers, and you weigh them in the hands of those who sworn to protect them, and you put them side by side, maybe this narrative would then make sense to you that what is the value of an average Nigerian? I'm coming back to that. Let's also look at it this way. People said, when you love something, you will protect it. If you love something, just same way you love your life, you will do everything to protect your life, won't you? That's it. That same feeling, attachment, goes with every other thing you have interest in, like family, friends, colleagues, community, towns, cities, government, on and on and on like that. Then when you have people who personally felt like Nigeria is their inheritance, and they treat Nigeria like a piece of garbage, and Nigerians like piece of, complete it with whatever you think should be. And it is obvious with their ways and actions towards the country. When you love something, you would protect it, won't you? If patriotism is about love for country, then there is something that must trigger patriotism. You don't force it. There must be a connection, something people don't want to lose. As you are watching this video today, Nigeria and Nigerians, majority of them have no connection to that Nigeria because it doesn't really exist. Now, when you look at all the people who have managed to be in charge of Nigeria, their own track records and what they did to Nigeria, what they did to Nigerians that brought us to this level today, you will realize that no single one of them is in the interest of any of you, but theirs and their allies. Yeah? And you are being asked to be patriotic when there is actually nothing to really connect you or something to strike that patriotism. Therefore, Nigeria became a project of turn by turn Nigeria Limited, where everybody is just waiting to take its turn. But if you now put that, no patriotism to Nigeria, not even from those who claim to be your leaders, there is no sign that they love that country. None. In fact, if there's every evidence we have, it means that they hated the country so passionately that they will kill to sustain that hate. And they will use every means of diversion to keep you distracted as they keep that hate nourishing. But when you put that side by side to how people feel when they heard that government of Fulani Republic of Nigeria wanted to take over their ancestral land, can you put that same patriotism towards Nigeria and your patriotism towards who you really are? A Biafran, Oduduwan. You know what I'm talking about? Who you really are. Your reaction towards that is the true patriotism that they don't want you to react to. Because the more you react to such patriotism that makes who you are a Yoruba man, an Igbo man, an Efik man, a Ijaw man, Yoruba man, you know what I'm talking about? Who you are, the one they buried under the fraudulent Nigeria. The more you stay connected to that, the more you found out more about it, the more detached you are going to become towards Nigeria. Because for decades, the only thing that connects us to Nigeria is the first patriotism. And I'm going to break that down for you. Asking them to break Nigeria doesn't make you an enemy. In fact, it just makes you a patriot. When you walk around and you say, I am a Biafran, and it is Biafra or death, my brothers and sisters, it is the most noble choice that you are taking. You know why? The current one they will want you to stick to doesn't even give you that recognition and respect for who you are, except to take a false identity led by selfish individuals who are also product of selfish citizenships or citizenry, the same country, the product of their leadership. Yeah, I have said this many times on Maiyegun's Diary Politico that the leadership you have in Nigeria, the greedy, selfish, and corrupt leadership you have in Nigeria, they are the reflection of many, many, many of us. They are not people who fell from the sky. They are products from you, from your greed, from your selfishness, from your corrupt existence, which is indeed the product or the resultant effect of being led by criminals. So when criminals goes, criminals succeed them, right? And when criminal goes, another criminal succeeds them in a crooked, corrupt, rigged system like Nigeria. So that makes you who they are, or who they are makes them who you are. A rigged system that makes those who are supposed to love the country. There should be no other people to love the country, especially in a country like Nigeria. There should be no other people to love that country first than those who decided to serve the country in whatever capacity to ensure law and order, equity and justice, fairness, and you know what I'm talking about, among the citizenry, so that orderliness can be established, sustained. But they are all from head to toe haters of Nigeria. Let us start from the local government areas. Or should I even start from the top?
They say when fish won't destroy, now from earth, the thing they rot. Abi? You have the government at the top, who knows that every time they talk in 200 million population they have to care for. So they take from all over the country. Most especially 80% of that money comes from the southern part of Nigeria. Now, when they take all that money, they put the money in a jar, and the government in the center, they will take 51%. Then they will give the states, they will give them 29%. And they will give the local government, they will give them 20%. Now, if they make $100 million, they will take $51 million in Abuja. They will give $29 million to states. They will give $20 million to local government areas. For federal government, they are just a people of less than 10,000, including their National Assembly. For the states, they are not more than total people of 25,000 all over the states. And then for local government areas, they have 774 local government areas that you can say probably comprises of more than, more than 40, 50,000 of them who are supposed to administer that money. But this is what happened. When the ones in Abuja takes their 51 million from this money, nobody knows what they do with it, or except what they tell you they do with it. The fraud starts from them taking the money from everywhere, including the money made from oil. Now, the money made from oil, the state who owns the oil, they don't know how much of the crude oil they extract from their state. Nobody has a real reliable data, nothing. They just tell them, yeah, we extracted 40,000 barrels from your states, so we are giving you this. Do you understand that? That's how they do it. That's how they arrive at that money, the 100 million in the first place. Now, when they give that 29 million to states, when they give the 29 million to the states will keep their own 29 million. The remaining 20 million to local government, state will collect it too. Now, it is now between the federal and those states, where one take 51%, the other take 49%. All right? Now, the 49% is now administered according to those governors in their own different states. They do whatever they like with it. Now, when they waste that, they now have to go through the CBN to print them more money because that money is not enough. Then they will have to go borrowing, both federal and states, abroad. Now, when they go borrowing, what happened? They have nothing to offer. Okay, they have nothing. No production that are actually they say every cargo that lands in Nigeria, they leave Nigeria empty because they have nothing to live with. Therefore, Nigeria became a dumping ground. So when they go abroad, what they actually offer is, we'll just downgrade our Naira for you. So that if you have to trade with us, you won't have to worry about exchange. So we'll devalue it for you. Devaluing your Naira means when they go borrowing, the same money they make and plunder in that same country is the amount they go out there to borrow. Now, when they go borrowing, they will tell them, you have to downgrade. You have to, devalue your Naira by 10%. Like magic, tomorrow morning, everybody will just wake up. Naira is now 600 Naira to $1. You'll be asking yourself, what happened? What changed? Because they've gone borrowing again. Now, when they get that money from borrowing, they plunder it too. Now, when they plunder that money, they go back again and say, well, we want to borrow more. This time around, we'll devalue more. Now, servicing that money means that those who are unable to cope as their businesses will eventually fold up, all right? Those who manage to survive, they have to increase their price. And you'll be asking, why did I buy, a can of milk for 100 Naira just 2 days ago? And I went to the same shop today and they're selling it for 200 Naira. 100% increase. What was that? Yes, because of the criminals in charge. If you love your country, you will never go into a deal to devalue your naira, to devalue the lives of your people, to devalue the economy of your people. 200 million people, subject them into poverty. If you love your country, I don't think you would do that. They have 200 million people. The ones at the federal, from his 51 million, he wants to build power for the entire country. From his 51 million, he wants to build the federal highways all over the country. From his 51 million, he wants to build schools and hospitals all over the country. The fraud, that's the fraud Nigeria is. Oh. Some of you who really didn't see through the whole thing, and you continue to think somebody is going to come and manufacture this El Dorado for you. Your life doesn't worth a jack to them. And this is how. A country that you love so much, you will never be negotiating with terrorists and releasing them while their victims are languishing in refugee camps in your country, uncared for, dying of different diseases. No, you won't do that. In 2020, it was last year, they said, they have a ministry called Ministry of Power for Electricity in Nigeria, but they didn't trust the minister. So they sent your former de facto president, Abba Kyari, to Germany because they were those who could discuss it for you. Abba Kyari went to Germany, met with Siemens. Apart from the corruption linked to it, yeah, because they said Nigeria wanted to build them before they can then let them do the job. Abba Kyari returned to Nigeria with coronavirus, and the rest is history. And then, was the story of getting electricity in Nigeria. 2 years or over a year after that, yeah, people are still in darkness. 200 million people. Successive governments in Nigeria, they've managed to generate 4,050 megawatts of electricity for 200 million people. Lagos State alone will need more than 50,000 megawatts of electricity to run uninterrupted electricity supply 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 or 66 days a year. In Lagos State alone, they will need over 50,000. And Lagos can generate on their own if there is no any link to this fraudulent government of Nigeria, FGN, right? Lagos can generate their own electricity up to 100,000 megawatts by building their own wind turbine on the sea. As they are so close to the sea, they can generate a lot from that. Lagos State is an oil producing state. I don't know if many of you know that. With their own offshore oil reserve, Lagos State can generate enough electricity to become electricity supplier to so many states in southwestern Nigeria if they were not part of the fraudulent government of Nigeria. Okay, but yeah, that is one of the reasons why I said when they put this together, people who love their country, who love their people, they will not be celebrating 4,000 megawatts of electricity in a country of 200 million people, where the figure is actually fictitious anyway. It's not true. All right. When they say 200 million people, they will give the chunk of that population to a desert in northern Nigeria. We found out that that's scientifically untrue. Scientifically untrue that the population of the north is more than the population of the south. And that's why they said, if you believe that they are more, why don't we just do scientific counting of people, real people, this time around, and see the fraud you have been made to believe for so long. That's not that. Now, states can generate their own electricity. States can become viable, economically viable on their own without any attachment to this fraudulent government of Nigeria. Okay? Now, they don't love it, the country. Coronavirus came. Their people were at the verge of extinction and complete wipeout with the arrival of the pandemic, especially at the early stage. But what did they do? They banked on it. That's what they do in Nigeria. Okay? Criminals in charge who are supposed to love you, to care for you, they allocated money to buy food and give to people, the vulnerable people, they said. Guess what? They ended up having to put them and keep them in safe houses. And they said, hoodlums broke into them. Hoodlums. Who are the real hoodlums? The criminals who allocated money to buy, food for the poor people they said will be affected by the pandemic, only for them to stock the food elsewhere in preparation to use the food to buy them for elections. Some of them were even rebagging the food, rebranding the food, and they were giving it a Corona COVID-19 support coming from Honorable Lagbaja to Honorable Tamedum, and so on and so forth. In pandemic, that's what they do. People who have one way or the other, who felt like, oh, maybe this pandemic will make them now see reason. Since they can't travel abroad, they can no longer go and see their doctors. Maybe they would now at least pay attention to your hospitals. Selfish, corrupt, greedy people, they ignored. Today, as your hospitals improved, that is what we are talking about. And where would that patriotism then come from? Especially the one they're asking you to give. Be patriotic. Think about what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. And the people who are quoting this line, they are the scavengers, scroungers, pickpockets, lazy, freeloaders, bunch of loafers who just wanted to take from you, and they have nothing to add. So if they now say patriotism again, just tell them you are patriotic, but not to Nigeria. Because even those who are asking you to be patriotic, they are worse than the terrorists that they are harboring in Nigeria. You know that? If anyone could sit in power and feel like it is actually good to put repentant terrorists on their payroll at the expense of millions of people who have become victims of their jihad, then such person shouldn't be talking to you about patriotism. No. Going back to the States, where I believe that if this movement, where people are beginning to see the exact default called Nigeria, and the only way to fix it is not to ignore it, it's not to pretend that it's not there, it is to face it squarely, address it, and help break it up. The viability of each state lies in them not being part of this fraudulent arrangement. They are preparing you for another election. It's not election. It is just going to be the validation of the fraud that put you in this current situation. So how much do you really think your life is worth as a Nigerian? How much do you really think? And I'm talking about life here, not just about the insecurity now. I'm talking about those who have the capacity to ensure that child mother mortality rates get so reduced or completely removed or ended, chose to milk it, which is what they do in Nigeria. Let me give you another instance. You remember when the passport scarcity all over the world, including in Nigeria? We are talking about patriotism now. David Udain, that guy, I'm still trying to picture when I'm going to bring him onto Maiyegun's Diary Politico, so that I can actually have to, or we will have the chance of listening to him. The guy did something. You know, when they did this passport scarcity about a year ago and a few months ago and even till now, it was organized and the crime was perpetuated by those who are supposed to be patriotic Nigerians in position of authority. What did they do? Do you know that the person who is behind the printing of your passports, your e-passports, well, if you are holding one, because I'm holding one, I don't even know where it is. Anyway, I've not seen it for the past 2 years or thereabout, because I don't think I actually needed it. The person behind that is a Yoruba man from Badagry. And he used to be a former attaché to the Nigerian delegation, attaché of the Nigerian delegation to the United Nations in America. This guy was using that position to smuggle cocaine into America. We are talking about in the 80s now. It became so notorious that even in one of the operations, it's like you flying with the president or flying with any ambassador or anything, and you are using that, diplomatic cover to ferry cocaine, huge of it, right? So they caught him, but they used diplomatic channel to bury the case, and it just went fully off the radar. In 2003, under Obasanjo, he came back again, with the company he registered sometimes in the late 80s or early 90s, a digital company, like, technology company. Obasanjo gave him the contract because it was around that time they were planning to, get onto this ECOWAS passports, e-passports. They gave it to that guy. That's how a former, a drug dealer, a convicted, wanted drug dealer, became the person that has been printing your international passport in Nigeria. Now, that is not even the story. The story is that there is a man called Babandede. Babandede is the immediate past controller of Nigerian immigration. Guess what? When he came, they started us this drama under Bokwari, drama of, opening up, passport posts all over the place to quickly fasten the process of getting your passports and all of that. Yeah? But it was a lie. The racket got so bad that even abroad, people are collecting bribe. Imagine me, because I want to collect a Nigerian passport after paying the legal fee. I have to bribe somebody if I wanted to come out quickly. In London, in America, in Canada, they will tell you they are waiting for papers. They are waiting for papers. You know what this guy did? He collaborated with another Asian-based, country-based tech company to be the ones to build the back-end info. All of our data, all of you, we don't get Nigerian passports, all of our data, everything is in the hand of this third party in somewhere in Asia. And the person who have the key to it is a former drug dealer. Now, Babandede, because that's what they do, all these Fulani terrorists in government and their collaborators across the Niger, the Fulefus of the South, right? You know what they did? They deliberately stop it so that it will, scarcity will increase demand and people will ask for more. It got so bad that they said if you go to Ikoyi passport office now, you actually think you are in Kano, okay? Now, it got so bad that he made so much money. And he told people that he just wanted to make money. All right, just want to make money. The racket is still ongoing. In the investigation of David has prompted them now to say they are trying to do something right now in Ikoyi immigration office. Deliberate. And this is what happened. While they were making cool money in Lagos, in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, where people will be like, wait for months. If you don't want to wait for months, people were paying as much as 400,000 naira, 500,000 naira to get their passport. That only cost something around 45,000 naira. That was how bad it is. So many people lost so many opportunities, especially those who had to travel because they are still using their Nigerian passport abroad. Some of them who had to leave Nigeria for a job, they couldn't, because they had no passport to go and get their visa. And so many things were affected. Students who were supposed to get their visas and, to go and study abroad and the rest of that, many of them couldn't go. Those who were abroad, who were, so many things, so many people got affected. And it was at a point that people started burning their Nigerian passports abroad. That they are done. All this was done to make some people rich in Nigeria. How do you then turn around, okay, to say you owe Nigeria, being patriotic? What would be the connection? They don't value you. They don't care about you. They just see you as statistics. And anybody who treats you as a statistic, trust me, doesn't value you. And that is why, if you look at their way of life in Nigeria, every now and then, when things happen, to them, they call themselves the elite. When it makes the news, you will get to know everyone affected, right? But when it affects the mass of you, trying to figure out your life, get caught up in the mess created by them, right? They will use statistics to address you, including their media. 49 people get killed. 130 people killed. 45 soldiers killed. That's how bad it is. That even when soldiers or policemen are killed by these terrorists in Nigeria, their media will say 7 officers killed, 18 soldiers killed, 120 soldiers killed, 45 policemen killed in 6 months. You know what I mean? That's what they do. You don't get to see their names. You don't get to see what happened to them. You don't really get to know them in order to have a connection to say, how could they do this to this person? Imagine if they have a system that treats you as a citizen, that treats you as a human being, that really values you, and somebody dies or somebody get kidnapped and it actually makes headline every now and then. Imagine the numbers of headlines that people imagine numbers of headlines that will report millions of people killed by these terrorists if indeed they value you. That's what I'm talking about. What is the value you think, your value? So they treat you as statistics. I'm glad that I've managed to get more than 800 episodes of my videos on YouTube alone. And if you go onto my Facebook page, you probably will see more than 1,000 of my videos. So if anything happened to me and others, they will still do me the honor. You know, that Scotland-based vlogger, activist, or whatever they would describe me as, got kidnapped. They will give me name. You know why? Because my face is everywhere now. What about you? If I get killed in Nigeria, it will not just make headlines in Nigeria. It will also make on all the social media. People will say, who is that guy? Maiyegun, who is that? It will be easier to say, oh. You get what I mean? Not just in Nigeria, it will make headlines all over the world. It depends on which of the platform you want to reach. You know why? People will begin to say, who is that guy? Because I have a name. I am no longer a statistic. But do they see you that way? Of course not. If you get killed en masse, 15 people killed will be the headline. If you get kidnapped, 35 people get kidnapped on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will be the headline. You will just be treated as a statistic. So where is that patriotism then? Where is that connection that will make you stand up in the open and tell people that they are just exaggerating, they are just overreacting? It is not as bad as they think. Nigeria still has something to give. Where is that connection? If you are being truthful to yourself, it is a question. What do you think is your value? And if you don't value yourself, don't expect anybody to do it for you. And that is where the missing link is. You see, the moment you value yourself, the moment you begin to question your existence, the moment you begin to ignore the material things that many people want to use to define themselves these days. Who are you? Who am I? I am Maiyegun, one man mopo, one man battalion, a man that enters a place and you think he has hundreds following him. A man that speaks and his voice echoes like that of thousands of others. Just a face that doesn't need any promo. One man battalion. That's Maiyegun. He won't take shit. He won't give it. And he won't ignore it, even if it's happening to someone else. That is Maiyegun. And then, if anybody wants to then undervalue me, or try to value me based on material things, it is left for me to tell them, no, you are wrong. And I don't have anything to prove to you that you are wrong. But if you want me to prove to you that you are wrong, then wait for it. Value yourself first before every other thing. Because if you don't actually value yourself, respect yourself, or know who you are, there is 100% possibility that you will never value other people. And if you don't value other people, that's it. You will beat them. You will be in their world. There are many like you who are already in their world. Because like I said, they are actually the reflection of you. Those who lead you, those who put you in this mess, those who push us to this point, they are the reflection of us. Then it is now on you to say, why should I, in the first place, be so bothered, so triggered when people say Nigeria should break up? Why am I triggered? If you ask yourself that, you will realize that if any answer ever comes to mind, that why are you triggered, you will realize that it won't be any reasonable reason that you are triggered. Trust me, it won't be. But let me ask you, why do you not want Nigeria to break up? Can you give me just one or two good reasons why you think Nigeria should not break up? Genuine ones. You are likely not going to be able to give any for real, other than using the same flippantry nonsense that these guys always, they always spew most of the time. God created Nigeria. God did not make mistake creating Nigeria. God wants us to be together. That is why he brought us together. Are you that naive? Can you then ask God? Are you bold enough to go and ask God and say, God, this is a mistake, I have to say. This can't be your creation. You can't be this mean. You can't actually create us to be this and say it is your God, it is your creation. If any voice sound back to you for any reason, it's going to tell you, my son, I did not create Nigeria. It was one of the lunatics that ran away from prison in England in 1890. A thug, a lunatic called Lugard, that created Nigeria, my son. If you can hear from God, trust me, that is what you will hear. He did not create Nigeria. God can't be so wicked. Have you not thought about that? Like, God can't really be so wicked. What have you not done? They told you to be faithful. They said, God said, I think it's in the Bible, that if there's just one honest, faithful, godly person in that city, I will spare that city. And when it got to the Sodom and Gomorrah, he said, if I can find just one, I will save the city. I don't know if not Gomorrah, maybe I don't mix them up, but don't mind me. But you know, the story is true, Abi, that God said if there's one person in that city that is good, it will spare the city. Now you have a country, Nigeria, that is the most religious country in the entire Africa. We are so religious that we are exporting religion. We are Holy Spirit. We are exporting the blood of Jesus. We are exporting everything that we could export to the rest of the world to save the world. While our people are languishing in poverty. And we are telling them to wait. They feel suffer for this earth. They are going to go to heaven and enjoy super Tucano jets. That's how religious we are. So ask yourself, Does that mean that there's no one single saint, honest person in the entire Nigeria that God continue to punish you with heartless criminals from local government straight to the presidency? Have you not questioned that? They say make you fast, you fasted. They say you should pray, you prayed. They call something national prayer. You are doing it. Former genocidist is the leader of the national prayer. Imagine that too. Is that not hypocrisy? The man will tell you, say, make you never entertain television in your house. You remember him? What's his name again? The one that said having television in your house is a sin. The man too is joining them in national prayer, attending national prayer in private jets and limousine convoy. Oh boy, things they happen. Does that mean there is no one saint person to let God show mercy? It is the brainwash. They have brainwashed many of you. And if you can think deeply, you will agree with me that it is not God. God can be so mean. I mean, like literally, it shouldn't be so mean to us. That tells you that he no get business with Nigeria. Now the criminals who put Nigeria together are the people telling you to always go to God. When you go out there and they value you, they give you 1,000 naira, they give you 10,000 naira, or they even give you 1 million naira to kill for them, to destroy for them, to be able to arrive at the country that you have right now. So it's never in any way valuable, I would say. If they value you that much, and they value and they love the country that much or this much, I hope we won't actually be where we are today. But trust me, if there is actually one person in that country, maybe God will spare, but God didn't create Nigeria. He did not. Now Lugard created it, and it was meant to be a business experiment, economic experiment. So if you ask yourself, what triggers me? What will trigger me if they are talking about Nigeria or breakup of Nigeria? The moment you realize that it is not worth it, except if you are also waiting in line for your own turn, then we will understand and say, bros. So now because you yourself won't become senator, because you won't become this. Now so now just pretend about your one Nigeria. All right, so go there, go change them all. That's what they tell us. They want to go there and change it, only for them to get in and be changed. And they turn around to start doing aspire to maguire, acquire, to perspire, to retire and disappear. Or this inspirational speaker about one Nigeria. What triggers you when you can actually be anything and everything in your own land, where you speak your own language, where we understand ourselves, where we fight ourselves? If you feel like you want to cheat us, they use grammar and all of that to do what? We are viable. We can survive. We can get respect. We can value ourselves. I mean, only if we value ourselves with others or other people value us. And that starts from the only patriotism we have. And what is that? The who we are. I'm an Ijebu man. A tribe that is part of the Yoruba ethnic group in Nigeria of today. We are Yorubas. And I know who I am. I know where I come from. I know where my soul will be if I have an opportunity of making a difference. You know where you are or you are from, and you also know what connection you have to that. That is what is called patriotism. That is what is called a connection. That is what you should build on. Stop wasting your time in trying to save a sinking country. We are having it already. There is already systemic breakup of Nigeria. The only thing that attach Nigeria together is the money. It's just the resources and the money that comes from it. That's it. If that money is no longer being shared together, trust me, the Nigerian lifespan is now timed. It's not a matter of, it's no longer that if Nigeria will break up. I've told you, it is just a matter of when. You get what I mean? It will happen. That systemic breakup needs your own connection. That's where you're going to find your own bearing. That's where you're going to find your own line. That's where you're going to find your own reconnection. Something, your purpose. Something you can live for. Something you can pretty much pass on to your own children. Something your generation from generation can be of, at least of value, so to say. Something that will be in your memory if you do it. Find your purpose. If we are talking about national politics, let Yoruba national politics be your politics. If you see their politicians today who walk straight into you and they are talking about glorious Nigeria, to blah, 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 blah nonsense, they are not different from those who are doing it now. Okay? Most of the time, they are just recycled. You know them all the time. They can no longer make any difference. They have all run out of ideas. Okay? But if we build and grow and swell the rank of those who have the connection to their own grassroots, to their own heritage, to their own ancestral heritage, as a Yoruba people, you have it, I have it, as an Igbo man, as a Biafran, as an Efik man, as an Ijo man, Robo man, Egba man, Oyo man. Tell me, you have it in you. And the moment you find that purpose and that connection, the better you detach yourself from defending Nigeria, so that when that time comes, we have real patriots, real people who love their people, real people who love their land, the real people who want progress and who want generations never to be subjected to this kind of enslavement that our own forefathers died enduring. Me and you, we are here now. In another few years, we won't. We'll be gone. What will be that purpose we're going to live for our children? What would our children be standing up to fight for? I mean, to sustain something that some of us came to realize today, they didn't come so cheap. Let's question our own forebearers. We remember that the heritage, the tradition, the culture, the value must be passed from generation to generation until it got to a generation that watered it down in the name of Nigeria. They told you, they told me, Nigeria is more important than who you are, than who I am. They were wrong. They are wrong, and you need to prove them wrong. You can't defend a country that doesn't value you. Okay? I'm not saying you should turn to a terrorist like them. No, you won't. But you can be an advocate of change, something that is so grounded, where we are all involved, and we know why we are involved. We know that we can rely and work with Ilana Omo Udua. We know we can rely and work with IPOB. We know we can rely and work with the Middle Belt Alliance. We know we can work with many other organizations, but what we need to do now is to harmonize them. And you can only harmonize them when people knows why they are involved. I just told you now, find that purpose. Why do you think you should be involved in defending and protecting that heritage? Now, this is how it works, right? Nigeria may not break up right away. In fact, Nigeria won't break up right away. The process of it breaking up has begun. Don't let anybody deceive you. There is no reversing gear. It is in forward. It's not coming back. It is a matter of when, which is time. Okay? Now, you should begin to realize that the more people feel connected, the more they feel like they have to defend there. Do everything. Physically, directly, or indirectly. When you begin to grow that number locally, that you sit with somebody in a local bar, or right there in your shop, or even right there in the office, and the conversation goes into Nigeria and who you are, tell them, I'm a Yoruba man. I mean, you can't tell me to underplay who I am in the name of Nigeria. That doesn't actually see me as who I am. Nigeria see me as a statistic. But I can change that by proving to them that I won't beg for respect. You will respect me. You will respect me. Now, when you have that mindset, all you have to do is what? Do it right. Do the right thing. Respect others. If they don't reciprocate, don't be that Mr. Nice person. That's the change we are talking about. The moment we begin to have the numbers of people that says, why can't we have this conversation? Why should we just take it hook, line, and sinker? Why should we be buried in the dictates of those who cares no hoot about me or you? Why can't I have a say? Why can't I have a chat about it? The fact that you are telling me that I can't have a chat about it, or having a chat about it is conditional, simply proves Maiyegun's theory, right? I am just a statistic to you, and I'm never going to be a statistic to you. Now, when you have that mindset as a person and you pass it on, let them know why. We have talked about the whole destruction. Of course, we've all been affected one way or the other, good or bad. But we can change the narrative by telling them we are taking a position like others, and we don't want to join the bandwagon of ignorance anymore. Why am I defending a place that treats me like a statistic? If anything happened to me, they will say, well, you are not the first. Other people have faced it, so just bear your own cross. I am not valued as a citizen. I need to change that. Then I have to make them respect me. How? By telling them and showing them that I'm not afraid of who I am. Who are you? Yoruba man, Omo Oduduwa, Omo Alade. Ha! We are princes. We are princesses. We are crowned princes and princesses. We are freeborns. We were the last to agree to their colonial conquerism or whatever at the time because we fought them. How dare anyone look at me and see me as a statistic in a project that should be a partnership project? But it is not partnership. Nigeria project is not partnership. It is a dictatorial unitary system that says, do as I say, not as I do. You get what I mean? That doesn't make me who I am until I have to show them. Showing them means if you are a Yoruba man, support Oduduwa Nation. Support Yoruba Nation now. That is your identity. They are asking you to fight. That is your heritage, your ancestral linkage. They are telling you to deny for something that doesn't give a damn about you once you say you are a Nigerian. Come on, man. Who wanted that? I mean, who actually wants that? I don't want that. And I bet if you have a choice, you're never going to want that too, would you? Your value. When you look at the whole system, healthcare, security, economy, policy making, law, monetary laws and monetary policy and all those things. When you look at all of them, you can see through the charade where those you didn't vote for. Well, let me put it this way. You voted for them or you helped them rig themselves into power. And they turn away from their responsibility. And when you ask them, can you please fix these roads? Can you fix these schools? Can you fix these hospitals? How can we be living in a country where over 20 million children who are school-age children that should be in school are on the streets, roaming the streets, begging, falling in the hands of pedophiles, of different criminal rings all over the place, including the Boko Haram, recruiting them to become child soldiers, to become killers, to become addicts and drug addicts? How could you have a system that won't fix that and you have no say? Come on, man. We are freeborn. Our future is bleak. Not because we are complacent or because we are lazy or because we are stupid. It is because we are not even allowed to think, not to talk of say it. They don't value you. You are only valuable to them if you can help them to continue to hoodwink the gullible, those that will buy their lies, those that can at least feed on your personality and say, well, if Maiyegun says that thing, I believe it. Except if you are going to be that useful to them, then you are an enemy. But Are we an enemy? Are we their enemy? Or are we the enemies for telling you that you can actually make a choice in a seamless, in a same choiceless situation? Because currently, with the Nigeria you have no choice. Just take whatever they give. If you complain, you will be punished. So, how is telling you that you can have a choice make such people the enemy? And those who gave you no choice are the ones making the rules. Who is an enemy? Who is a friend? But you, myself, that will be victims of all these atrocities, we are not even allowed to think. If you get kidnapped, you don't call the police. You know why? Even police, imagine police being rescued by vigilantes in the hands of kidnappers. Nigerian police officer was kidnapped and the Nigerian police couldn't rescue him. They have to send the local hunters, vigilantes, after the kidnappers, and they rescued the police officers, 2 of them. One of them, they've beaten him. He didn't believe he was going to make it. He actually hugged the vigilante so tight, like his life depended on it. That, you gave me back my life. And I'm supposed to be, it is meant to be the other way. I'm supposed to be the one to walk and protect people. Chaize! That's how Nigeria has become. They closed down police station. Yeah, police station closes at 4 p.m. for security reasons. So if anything happened to you between 4 p.m. and 10 a.m., you are on your own in that part of the country. No joke. It may sound funny to you. It's not funny. There are parts of Nigeria today that their police stations actually, some have packed up. They've packed off completely. They've left the whole place. Some are actually, like, for security reasons, they have to shut around 4 o'clock. Everybody will go home, including police officers. They will take off their clothes, take everything off before they go to public, so that they don't want to disappear. That's how terrible it has become. And people who love their country will never let that happen. Or any other places will never get to a point whereby terrorists will be walking and roaming freely in a country where people are supposed to be protected. Those who are supposed to protect you are making money from it. They are calling you statistics. 40 people killed, 60 people killed, 99 people killed, blah, blah, blah people killed, 300,000 people killed. These are human beings. That could be me. That could be you. And as they say, today's today's victims, they are yesterday's survivors. So tomorrow's victims, they are going to be today's survivors. You get what I mean now? It is turn by turn Nigeria Limited. As some of you are waiting to take your turn on how to loot and get involved and steal and get yourself rich as your useless leaders, because like I said, they are just reflection of many of you anyway, right? As you are preparing yourself to take over, so are so many people who are going to be the victims of those policies and those decisions and selfish things you're going to do. The victims are going to be the survivors of today are going to be your victims tomorrow. But if we have a large number of people that begin to realize that going into an election in a country where you don't have a say, they've told you already, Southern Nigeria is a conquered territory, no joke, and they mean it, and I'm serious about it. Because, by all means, by all standard, you can't do anything other than for you to take drastic decisions of a united Southern Nigeria to push back. How? You can't, you can't vote them out if they don't want to go anywhere. They control the number as they have managed to bury them in your system to make them look real. So many of you in the South also believe that. You either go cap in hand and tell them you give them whatever they want just to make you president to join them and, continue to continue to pillage your country, continue to, victimize your people and the rest of that. So it's just going to be like a catch-22 for some of you. As you are doing that, those who are going to be victims are also on the queue. So when we have large number of people who understand that they don't go into that arrangement, signing their own death warrants by validating an election that is going to kill them, then what do? You boycott it. You ask for a referendum. You don't go into a fight that you did not set the rule. You didn't set the rule in southern Nigeria. They did. Now, since you didn't set the rules, right, you are not obligated to obey it. Yes, they said if you don't participate, they will nominate anyone to be the governor and blah, blah, blah. They should nominate whatever they want to nominate. What about those ones you pretended to elect, to have elected? What happened to them? Has your lives changed? What happened to the 33% unemployment rate, where you have over 60 million of you? I mean, like over 80 million of you unemployed in Nigeria of today, 33%. Think about that. So what happened to those you elected? What happened to those I voted for him? That's what I voted for the past 22 years. Where has that led you? Where has that taken you to this day? You are just validating their fraud. As you validate the fraud, when they manage to give you the crumb back, when they construct your drainage, when they manage to construct half kilometers of road, poorly handled anyway, then they commission it. The true parties, you say, well, that's what I voted for. A few years after they left, you go back to where you are, the same shanty places, ghost towns. When you go to some of these places, especially in Yoruba land, or if you go to Igbo land, I mean, places you will expect that reasonable people are living. People who actually have, they should understand the fact that the value of human lives. When you go to some of these places, apart from their state capitals, you will think you are in war-torn areas where they just fought civil war. I'm not joking. And that's how terrible they have been. And many of those who have managed these states or these places in southern Nigeria, they continue to give themselves award, pat themselves on the back that they did a good job. When I was governor for 8 years, I built. When I was governor for 5 years, I did. And at the end of the day, you look back, what you see is poverty, dejection, complete destruction, underdeveloped places. And you ask yourself, where are the gold medals coming from? They are coming from the blood of those that died in their misgovernance. But when we have enough number of people who feel like, no, we deserve better, we'll boycott that, we'll change that. They are telling you right now that if you do that, you will be doing yourself injustice. Tell them, you have been doing yourselves injustices for so long by validating their fraud, believing that they can make a difference. Rather than make any difference, they make it worse, right? But when we have large number of people who can think that way, the battle is half won. I hope I'm going to see you tonight. If you have the time, you should join me. I mean, it will be interesting where we have our normal prime time, 9 p.m. tonight. So thank you so much for listening to me today. After watching this video, reflect on it. Think about yourself. Think about people you love. Think about the community you love. Think about the colleagues you love. Think about the state you love. Think about everyone around you. And you will realize that if you love them truly, you will never stand up and be using Nigeria to blackmail them, using one Nigeria to persuade them. You will stand up and tell them the truth. You will join the movement. You will join the army of liberators who will never leave this battle for their own children. I hope this sinks in. I'll see you later tonight. Good afternoon.
Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Bọ́ba bá gbé wúrẹ́. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádùn yẹ. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Tí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì í. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì í. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì í. Maiyegun ti